Okay, guys, the video I'm about to narrate is going to literally. All right, let's try that again. Okay, guys, the video I'm about to attempt to narrate is going to literally knock you off your chair. Everything that we've been talking about is absolutely staring at you in the face. And this gentleman was on Joe Rogan about a year ago, a year and a half ago. Mind blowing information on frequency, vibration, technology. It's all coming, folks, and it's all going to come under Donald Trump. I'm going to go ahead and actually share my screen here. And I think you might want to absolutely pay very, very, and I do mean very close attention. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see my screen there. Okay, and let's hit the play button.
I'm the biggest skeptic around, and what I saw can't happen. What I saw is impossible, but I saw it. When I was there at this testing, I'm seeing these scientists, physicists and engineers stuff, they're all scratching their heads. They've been struggling for a year now to explain what is actually happening. He's been developing these technologies using plasma, and it's frequency based. There had actually been a couple of attempts on his life, and he got so freaked out, he never went back to his laboratory. He came right over to America.
Man, and you've seen this.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
It's astonishing that this isn't making headlines everywhere. This is the most Nikola Tesla-like discovery that we've ever had the chance to see in action. It's a testimony to how ancient knowledge can be harnessed to literally develop something that could change life on our planet. Yet, here we are, often trapped in the rat race, not paying.
Now, gee, doesn't that sound familiar? Where did I hear about this Nikola Tesla technology? Oh, yeah, stayingalive.com. Yeah, it's remnants of Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla was one of the first inventors that we know of that created plasma and scalar wave technology, biophotons, all of it, folks. Pay very close attention, please. I want to back it up a few seconds.
Life on our planet. Yet, here we are, often trapped in the rat race, not paying enough attention to what truly matters. I bet you're going to like this one. Let's begin.
It's almost as if there is this proportional template. You know, the way it's been described is the ancient master builders were attempting to replicate the processes by which God built the universe. This is why Freemasons refer to God as the great architect, because God geometrizes, that all of creation has this geometry inherent in it. And when you start looking, it's there.
Yeah.
You can see it, to the point where, no, you cannot dismiss this as coincidence anymore.
Yeah.
There's some kind of a pattern here.
Just consider the fact that the government holds all the secrets, all the technology, all the advanced knowledge, much of which the public rarely hears about.
Gee, does that maybe have to do something with those 6,000 patents we all been talking about? I believe so. Let's keep watching.
Compelling to realize that even within top levels like the Pentagon, there's acknowledgement of ancient technologies. You really can't make this stuff up. It becomes clear that while these truths are known within government circles, mainstream attention often overlooks them. The general public, distracted by consumerism, misses out on these significant revelations. The situation begs the question, what other profound knowledge remains hidden in plain sight? Let's hear Sean on this.
I need to introduce you to my friend Chris Beck. He used to work for he was a SEAL, and then he worked for the Pentagon. He's basically, I mean, in a nutshell, a mad scientist, a brilliant mind, but he talks a lot about everything is frequency and vibration.
See, that's exactly the direction I would go. I think we're kind of in this phase right now where it's essentially trying to reverse engineer what these peoples of long ago were up to with all of this stuff.
Okay, now let's dive into plasma, a topic that might sound like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but is very much a part of our universe.
Plasma. Gee, yeah, that's right. The plasma medbed that we have at the Staying Alive. We have it, folks. Plasma, noble gas, and scalar wave all in one, bundled up. Yes, this is technology that allows the body to heal itself from all kind of disease, folks. We have it. Okay. And we're about to do something really, really huge with staying alive. You better stay tuned. We will release the information as it becomes available. Let's keep watching.
Plasma isn't just something you find in blood or TVs. It's the fourth state of matter, and it's everywhere, from the sun to the stunning aurora borealis. What's fascinating is how plasma behaves when free from the bonds that hold together solids, liquids, and gases. When electrons and neutrons become disassociated, we get this vibrant, electrically charged state that can be shaped by magnetic fields. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Under the right conditions, plasma can organize itself into structures that look like something out of a cosmic blueprint. Imagine if we could harness this behavior. What could we do with a material that self-organizes in response to frequencies and vibrations? Well, Randall will tell you exactly that. The mind-blowing technology that actually...
By the way, have you ever heard me say that I sometimes astro surf? I actually do it a lot. These are the kinds of purple colors and smoke and things that I see when I close my eyes, on top of many, many other things. But that's because my pineal gland is completely spick and span, completely clean. That's why I'm able to see this. When you're able to clean the pineal gland, which they don't want you to do, that's when you have a direct line to source. And I'm working on trying to develop this a little bit more.
Actually exists today in the world, but might be suppressed. It's a deep dive into how ancient knowledge paired with modern science could be unlocking extraordinary technologies that seem like magic to us. These technologies, which manipulate the fundamental principles of nature like plasma, could revolutionize everything from energy to environmental restoration. Now, let's listen to Randall Carlson as he unravels these hidden truths and offers us a glimpse into what might be one of the most transformative discoveries of our time.
The sun is plasma. Aurora borealis, the northern lights, is plasma. It's the fourth state of matter. It's what happens when the electrons and the neutrons become completely disassociated. Solid, liquid, gas, degrees of freedom between electrons and neutrons, right? Even in a gas, there's still bonds. But when you get to plasma, they completely break free. So now you have electrons, neutrons become ions, and because they're electrically charged, they can be influenced by magnetic fields. And they also have this tendency to self-organize under the right conditions. If you apply the right frequency, it's like they spontaneously organize into toroidal forms. And then what happens is that, if you look at a torus in cross-section, it looks like an infinity sign. Here's what you do. Visualize a sphere with a North Pole and a South Pole. And now let's say you collapse that sphere so that the North Pole and the South Pole meet at the equator. So now you've got this like indentation in the north and the south. What then happens is that you get this electron or ion or both stream starts spiraling down that funnel, and as it's spiraling down, it's increasing and increasing in rotational velocity. Now, in the northern hemisphere, say, it's going clockwise, and in the southern, it's going counterclockwise. And they meet at the equatorial plane. And that's where something really interesting happens that I don't understand. Something happens there that's almost supernatural.
The inventor behind this revolutionary plasma technology, someone who found a profound connection with Randall's work, reached out to him after a presentation. This connection wasn't just fleeting. It led to a serious discussion about the implications of this technology, a topic Randall even brought up on the Joe Rogan show.
And it's all based upon the ancient numbers. And they're developing technologies right now, and they have been. I was recently contacted and given the go-ahead that I could talk. I've been sitting on this for 7 years without talking about it because they asked me not to talk about it until they had their patents in place and their licensing. That's all happened since last summer. So we're now free to talk about it. I'm going to lay this on Graham so he can look at it too, because I really want to get Graham's feedback on this.
I mean, would it be fair to say that there's an element of a rediscovery of a
Yes.
lost technology from the past?
And so through this technology, they're able to move stones or cut stones or all the above?
All the above.
And even transport them? Whoa,
Yes.
what is all this?
For about 7 years, Randall was in discussions with this inventor, piecing together a puzzle that many of us would find hard to believe. Now, he's ready to share these insights with the world.
In other words, folks, they're able to cut and move stones into place to build our pyramids with sound, vibration, and frequency. Now, if you tell that to the average normie out there, I guarantee you his brain is going to explode. Okay? That's a fact.
Interestingly, even major corporations like Mazda are peeking over the fence, intrigued by the potential of this technology. Let's hear from Randall himself on how it all unfolded. Pay close attention when he mentions those ratios. I'm sure you'll make the connection.
When he first called me, he said, I've been working on this plasma energy and it's based on frequencies, and these frequencies are connected to these ancient sacred numbers. And he said, I watched a podcast and it was you giving a lecture and you were talking about ancient numbers, and the numbers you were mentioning were exactly the numbers that I found made this technology work. For example, the ratios of the spheres have to be in the ratio 4 to 3 to 2. And if they weren't in those proper ratios, you didn't get the effect.
Randall introduces an intriguing element to the discussion: the significance of certain numbers that appear repeatedly in ancient cultures, sacred geometry, and natural frequencies. These numbers, such as the one often referred to in esoteric circles, are believed to hold the key to understanding the universe's very fabric. Throughout history, these special numerical sequences have been revered not just for their mathematical beauty, but for their alleged ability to influence the physical and spiritual realms. For instance, these numbers are found in the architectural dimensions of ancient structures and in the tuning of musical instruments believed to resonate with natural energies. Randall's exploration isn't just an academic exercise, it's about practical application. He reveals that the effectiveness of the plasma technology he has been studying hinges on these precise ratios and frequencies. His discussion brings a scientific rigor to what might otherwise seem like mystical assertions, connecting these ancient numerical concepts to groundbreaking contemporary technologies. But what exactly is this technology? Randall isn't just talking theories. He has concrete evidence. He even shares photographs of a functioning installation outside of London, proving the technology works. This isn't a prototype or a concept. It's a real, operational example of how ancient numerical knowledge can be applied to modern energy solutions.
I was reluctant to talk about it. You know, I went on Rogan's show with Graham Hancock a year ago last November, and I had already been in contact with Malcolm, one of the preeminent inventors and developers of technological applications of plasmas. I hadn't decided yet whether he was for real or not, but I'd been talking to him distance for over 7 years, and his story never changed. Right? And I took careful note of that, and I began looking at some of the things that he claimed as sources, and they all checked out. Going back to Nikola Tesla, right? Coming up through like half a dozen other researchers that had worked in some capacity trying to develop technologies around this plasma energy, like learning how to contain plasma and then extract energy from it. He's been developing these technologies using plasma, and it's frequency based. At this point, I already knew that the thunderstorm generator, and I'll show you pictures of one now that's been retrofitted on a 300 kilowatt generator on a substation outside of London. And they're testing the damn thing, and it works. It does what it's predicted to do, right? I mentioned that he was on an island where he'd gone because there had actually been a couple of attempts on his life.
Time and again, revolutionary technologies that could reshape our world face significant resistance, not just from skeptics, but from powerful corporate and media interests. This plasma technology, discussed by Randall Carlson, is a prime example, but it's far from the only one. Historically, numerous inventions from alternative energy sources to medical breakthroughs have languished in obscurity or been actively suppressed.
Now, I will tell you in no uncertain terms, folks, there are people out there that truly believe they own the future. They don't want this technology to get out, but unfortunately for them, it is going to get out. And it's going to help humanity in ways that I can't even begin to explain to you. Now, there's going to be a part in this video, if it hasn't already talked about it, it will, where the actual air you're breathing when you're inside stayingalive.com at 166 Center Street in Cape Canaveral, that technology is allowing the air to be completely reversed. It's the most pristine air you will ever breathe, with biophotons, and you got the plasma, and you got the whatchamacallit, the scalar wave technology going through your body that your cellular structure recognizes, and that's what allows the body to heal the body. And it's traveling at 1.4 times the speed of light. It's here now, folks. And we know for sure at this point, we're literally maybe a month or two away to verify it scientifically that the telomeres are going the other way. We have the technology right now. Mel Carmine and Amber own the technology that I'm guessing right now is going to allow humanity to live past 200 years old. It's here now, folks. And the things that are coming are going to be mind-blowing. Let's continue. I'm going to back it up 5 seconds.
To medical breakthroughs have languished in obscurity or been actively suppressed. Consider the case of Nikola Tesla, whose pioneering work in wireless energy transmission was decades ahead of its time, yet struggled to receive the funding and support it deserved. Or the story of Stanley Meyer, who claimed to have developed a water-powered car engine, only to be met with lawsuits and claims of pseudoscience. These stories share a common theme: the challenge of introducing technologies that disrupt established industries. The media often plays a pivotal role, not just by ignoring these innovations, but occasionally mocking them, shaping public perception to view them as impractical or implausible. This derision can effectively sideline even the most promising advancements. The inventor of the plasma technology we're discussing chose to open source his work, hoping to sidestep these barriers. By making his designs and data publicly available, he aimed to protect his invention from being buried by the interests of those who stand to lose from its success. It's a bold move, reflective of the struggles many innovators face in bringing transformative ideas to the forefront. But now, it seems the tide may be turning. Mazda has shown interest in this plasma technology, as Randall mentioned. This could be a sign that the mainstream is finally ready to embrace such innovative solutions, or it might be an outlier in an otherwise cautious industry. Will this interest from a major automotive manufacturer pave the way for broader acceptance?
I can tell you that when we had the Quantum Summit Part 1, which we're about to have Quantum Summit Part 2, it looks like we have to move the date back to March. We'll release the date as soon as we know for sure. We had a gentleman on stage by the name of Patrick Riley, a very dear friend of mine, and he did he released open source technology that lives on his blockchain, okay, at reaper.financial, and you could get that technology downloaded, and you can go ahead and build your own damn motor that does free energy technology. It's coming, folks. It cannot be stopped no longer. As a matter of fact, Patrick Riley will be at the Quantum Summit Part 2. I can assure you that. So let's continue here.
Will this interest from a major automotive manufacturer pave the way for broader acceptance and integration of this technology? Let's hear from Randall about the current state of this technology and its prospects for mainstream success.
So I kind of outed the guy inadvertently because he had told me that because of what the history of these kind of alternative energies not making it out, he decided he was going to use a different strategy. He was going to open source everything. All of his notes, and he had spent 7 years writing up his notes, several thousand pages of notes and schematics and diagrams. He had patent applications. All of this he was going to open source. I also mentioned the car manufacturer Mazda, who had expressed interest in the technology. Now, I don't think they've gone forward with it, but at the time I didn't realize, because I thought he'd given me the green light. I'm going to open source it, so, I'm going to put it all out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so turns out that he had and his small group of potential investors had signed a non-disclosure agreement with Mazda. And here I am on Joe Rogan. Mazda, the car manufacturer in Japan, is getting ready to do a $25 million testing of some of these prototypes. Shooting my big mouth off, innocently blabbing away.
Okay. Now comes the most important part, where Randall Carlson explains in detail what he personally witnessed, and describes the actual workings of this mind-blowing technology. It's the kind of stuff we often associate with visionaries like Nikola Tesla, not something you'd expect to find readily embraced by today's scientific community. This technology, while incredible, typically flies under the radar due to its unconventional nature and the skepticism that surrounds such claims. We know these technologies are possible. History is littered with accounts of inventions that were way ahead of their time. Yet, there's always that hint of doubt, especially when such innovations are ignored by mainstream channels, and when friends and family dismiss them because they aren't featured in popular media. It's this environment of skepticism that often stifles the growth and acceptance of groundbreaking technologies. Here's Randall, ready to share firsthand what exactly the technology did in his presence.
I knew that there was a whole series of testing coming up the next summer, which was last summer. And I was present at some of these tests and saw for myself what was happening. But I was there, saw it working, saw 2 generators, a control generator, and one with the technology. I watched as the engineers and the scientists there calibrated them both. And then I was the one who went up and started both generators. They're both in 2 separate rooms. So we've got readouts. We've got gas analyzers there, probes going up into the exhausts of the generators. We've got a couple of guys there with mass spectrometers hooked up. So we've got multiple ways of determining what's coming out of the exhaust pipes of these 2 generators, right? And we watched, so we got a first read. I can show you actually, I've got a printout of the readouts right here on my computer.
Really?
Yeah, I do. And you can see, you've got, it was the, I think it's called a Kane 5 something because it measures 5 gases. Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, other hydrocarbons, probably like methane and whatever else, and oxygen. So basically, oxygen is like at a 4 or 5% coming out of the exhaust, which is about typical for a generator like that. You got, I think, like 12% of CO2, CO, etc. So as you're watching it, here's what happens. The carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides start going down. Oxygen starts coming up.
Interesting.
CO2 zeroes out. Carbon monoxide zeroes out. The nitrogen oxides go down to just a few parts per million, as does the other hydrocarbons. Oxygen tops out at over 20, I don't remember exactly, between 20 and 21%, which is optimum percentage of oxygen for pure unpolluted air. So what is now coming out of the generator, the generator with the technology, is pure unpolluted air.
No kidding.
No kidding. No
Whoa.
kidding. On top of that, what it's doing, it's capturing everything that's coming out and it's feeding it back into the thunderstorm generator. So at the initial, in order to get the plasma separation to occur, I think you have to get it up to like 700 and some degrees. But once you do that, it's almost, not quite, but almost self-perpetuating.
Now, I could tell you that Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, who will also be at the Quantum Summit, by the way, part 2, and potentially Jason will be there, Jason Shirka, and potentially Mike, her son, might be there as well. I can tell you emphatically that she talked specifically about the air in the room being pristine qualities, and she explained it in a scientific format that average guys like myself probably don't understand it. A lot of you don't understand it, but it's real, folks. And this gentleman's talking about the same thing. I get chills, literally, listening to this stuff. Let's continue.
And you just have to replenish the water. Almost, I think you have to get it up to like 700 and some degrees. But once you do that, it's almost, not quite, but almost self-perpetuating. And you just have to replenish the water. Like, I forget, however few hundred hours that it runs, you have to replenish the water. And that's it.
Man, and you've seen this.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. And I've known, multiple people now that have seen it. The Admiral, he took it back to India. India is seriously looking at it and as a retrofit for their Navy.
Man.
The industrial, and I can show you this on the computer too. I've got photographs of like the big industrial scale application.
The world's about to change, folks. That world that is coming, I call it Nasara and Jasara. It's all here. It's right underneath. Look, all the XRP in the world isn't worth a hoot. Okay. All the dinars, all the zims, all the dongs, whatever, Venezuelan bolivars don't mean a thing if we got a polluted planet, you got polluted food, you're dying at 70 years old. What good is all that stuff? So we got to figure out how to extend life. That's why they don't want Donald Trump back. And he's about to literally unleash hell on earth in a great way that you can't even imagine. We're going to make America so great. And that's why we never get rid of these. You know what I mean? We never want to get rid of our Second Amendment, because if you get rid of your Second Amendment, you don't even have a First Amendment anymore. Freedom of speech is gone. You're not allowed to talk. You know why? Because you don't have the ability to defend yourself. So don't ever give those up. As a matter of fact, please buy more. Let's rewind here 5 seconds.
on the computer too. I've got photographs of like the big industrial scale application on the 300 kilowatt Perkins generator on the substation in London. I mean, they're testing it, and they may start retrofitting all of their because it doubles to triples the efficiency of these engines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you think that they had this back in ancient times?
Randall Carlson shared his firsthand experience with the groundbreaking technology that challenges our current understanding of energy and environmental management. He described witnessing tests on a technology that effectively manipulates and transforms exhaust gases in real time. Here's the science of what Randall observed. 2 generators were set up, one as a control and the other equipped with this revolutionary technology. Various instruments, including gas analyzers and mass spectrometers, monitored the outputs. Initially, typical readings were recorded: oxygen at about 4 to 5%, carbon dioxide around 12%, and other gases like carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides present in smaller amounts. As the test progressed, something extraordinary happened. The levels of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide began to drastically decrease, eventually zeroing out. Nitrogen oxides and other hydrocarbons also reduced to just a few parts per million, while the oxygen levels significantly increased, stabilizing at an optimal 20 to 21%, the ideal for unpolluted air. This technology doesn't just filter, it transforms. It appears to catalyze a reaction where harmful pollutants are not just captured, but converted, likely into less harmful substances, with oxygen being one of the byproducts. This suggests a form of plasma-induced reaction, where high temperatures achieved in the generator cause a breakdown of chemical bonds, allowing new formations. This is supported by the need to reach temperatures around 700 degrees to initiate the process. The implications of this are staggering. The technology is essentially turning pollutants into breathable air, and it's doing so in a self-sustaining cycle, only requiring periodic water replenishment. Observers, including seasoned scientists and engineers, were baffled.
You remember the video I did for the opening of the Quantum Summit? If you haven't, you might want to go watch it. I'll leave a link down below to that video. I said, we're going to turn back the air, the waterways back to pristine levels before the times of Christ. Okay. I said that in that video. I've been saying it in a lot of videos, and that's coming, folks. It's coming real fast.
Observers, including seasoned scientists and engineers, were baffled. Even Randall, with all his experience, described the effects as nearly impossible, a sentiment echoed by others who could only verify the results repeatedly without fully grasping the underlying mechanics. Moreover, the potential applications extend beyond simple pollution control. Discussions have explored how this technology could be adapted for space travel, submarines, and even converting hydrocarbon pollution in oceans into useful proteins. The transformative nature of this technology could revolutionize how we manage environmental challenges. It's important to remember the significance of what's being claimed here. A system that cleans air, conserves itself, and adapts across various applications isn't just innovative, it's revolutionary. It begs a broader discussion on how such technologies are developed, tested, and ultimately accepted or rejected by industries and regulators. Now, revisiting Sean's question.
And you think that they had this back in ancient times?
Consider how mind-blowing this technology is today. Imagine what might have been possible in ancient times, when they built the pyramids and other wonders of the world that still mystify us in terms of their construction, purpose, and the technologies they used. It really makes you think. But Randall doesn't stop there. He notes that even the scientists present at the testing are scratching their heads. They're at a loss to fully explain how this technology works.
When I was there at this testing, I'm seeing these scientists, physicists and engineers and stuff, they're all scratching their heads, going, okay, we see this, but they've been struggling for a year now to explain what is actually happening. He says, I'm the biggest skeptic around. And what I saw can't happen. What I saw is impossible, but I saw it. He's there with his, he had a thermal analyzer. And we've got videos of him here and there testing as this stream of stuff is moving through these cylinders and pipes and stuff. And literally with 4 inches, the temperature can change by over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And he says, this is impossible. He says, I kept testing and testing and testing with my thermal analyzer, and it came up the same every time. He says, I'm not sure what, he says, we're just at the beginning of trying to figure out what the hell is happening here. But then he went in to discuss the potential applications of it. Now, one of the big questions is okay, when you do look at these readouts, okay, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, the other things go down. In some cases, zero out. In other cases, it doesn't zero out entirely, but it's only a small fraction of what it had been. Meanwhile, the oxygen's gone up. So then the question, okay, where did the carbon dioxide go? Where did the carbon monoxide go? Well, it looks like it somehow got transmuted on the atomic level into oxygen. And how bizarre that the concentration of oxygen coming out of the exhaust pipes is the optimum oxygen that we would want for unpolluted, breathable air. And that's what's coming out. But there's other applications that look like they could be, I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen some of these guys talking about is space travel, submarines, possibly even the conversion of hydrocarbon-based pollution in oceans into protein, which could be very interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about that, but that's one of the potential applications that's already been demonstrated to be possible.
Now, folks, with all due respect, you could sit there and, say this is never going to happen, or you can embrace what's getting ready to happen and dive deep, because Donald Trump, in my opinion, is going to be the last FU card the United States will ever play. We're about to change everything on planet Earth. Nothing is going to be the same. Absolutely nothing. You're going to wake up to a very different world. There's going to be a million new multi-billionaires. I predict that easily. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm not answering that. So, look, it comes down to getting the information, doing your own research, and think positive. Think that, yes, optimism. Because what are we going to do? You sit there and embrace communism and embrace all of the stuff that's coming down that they want us to have? No, we want heaven on earth as it is in heaven. We want Nasara Jasara. We want a flat tax. We want clean air. We want clean water. We want clean soil. We don't want to eat fish that are poisoned. We don't want to eat meat that is poisoned. We don't want to eat vegetables that are poisoned. We want to be able to fly real fast, where we can get from point A to point B anywhere on this planet in minutes. We don't want to continue to drive the extension of a Model T Ford with 4 rubber tires, go to the airport, and get into a metal object that resembles a bird. These days are going to be long and far gone very, very shortly. When that day arrives, you will come back to videos like this, say, this guy wasn't crazy after all. Absolutely correct. I am not crazy. I'm crazy like a fox. And if you haven't figured that out yet, you better start studying a lot of people that are basically preaching the same thing. You need to own XRP. You need to own gold and silver, carminesgold.com. Okay. We got the best prices. We can deliver the gold. I got people with millions of dollars. They realize that their money's just about getting ready to take a you-know-what in their bank account, and they're taking it out and they say, Mel, I need to get into silver. What could you do for me? Where can I store it? Et cetera, et cetera. That's all happening. How can a small company that just started out of nowhere, Carmine's Gold, wasn't even on a map a few months ago prior to we actually launched it on the 8th of March. I'm sorry, was it? Yeah, no, June, the 8th of June. Okay. And this was at the Quantum Summit. And boom, now I got people calling me from all over the world wanting to buy gold and silver from the ex-pizza guy. What does an ex-pizza guy know about gold and silver? Nothing, but you better own some, because historically, if you look at the history, you know that it's the best hedge against inflation. It's the best hedge. It is a wealth preservation, and the wealthy people are moving in tandem right now, very quickly, to do exactly just that, to preserve their wealth. They're getting out of real estate. They're putting into silver. They're getting out of real estate. They're putting into gold and XRP. And they got plenty of food to last them for 30 days, 60 days. But I don't think the 10 days, 20 days of darkness, that may come, but it may be very, very short-lived. I'm thinking it might be more like 5 to 10 days at the very most. I could be wrong. Always have more. If you don't eat it, donate it to some food bank when it's all said and done. But we're about to win the war. The Quantum Summit is coming. The date will be announced here shortly. And as soon as that's available, we'll make a video and let you guys know about it. We're going to even bring in some flat earthers. As a matter of fact, if there's anybody out there that knows big names on flat earth, please tell them to contact my staff. If you go to stayingalive.com, alive with 2 eyes, down at the bottom, there's a phone number. You can go ahead and call that number and say, hey, I'm a flat earther. I have XYZ channel on YouTube and Rumble. I got X amount of people follow me, and I need three heavy duty flat earthers to come and prove your science down at the Quantum Summit in Cape Canaveral sometime in March. So I'll be looking forward to hearing from you all soon. If you like this content, get it out there far and wide. Yes, we have the healing technology. It's in 166 Center Street in Cape Canaveral. It's amazing. We're going to have a few packages that are coming out that are going to be unbelievable. You want to stay tuned for that, because you're going to be able to use the system every single day for a very nominal fee, which is ridiculously inexpensive. But anyway, that's coming soon. Stay tuned. Stayingalive.com. The links are down below. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.